Well, hello there, Jason McCarthy. I can't wait to ask you a couple questions here. Let's start it off pretty easy. Jason, where are you from?
I am from right here in good old Whitehall, Ohio, where I spent my entire educational young person career up until I graduated from high school, and then I swiftly got out of Whitehall and find myself back here to attend Ohio Media School, which is one of the best decisions I ever made.
So why did you choose Ohio Media School, with that being said?
So I took a vacation last September for my job, and I had a couple of days where I really didn't do anything, but I was thinking, where do I want to be in 5 years, 10 years? The answer was not running a Giant Eagle store. So I went and I researched some things, and I knew I liked podcasting. I thought I'd be good at it because I have a good voice, I think. And I found Ohio Media School. I did the interview, I did the tour, and I fell in love with this place.
So with Ohio Media School, what's your favorite sport coming in that you mostly wanted to cover?
Professional wrestling by far. Basketball was a lot of fun, but professional wrestling is what brought me here. I hope to take the skills I learned here and parlay myself a job in front of the camera for a professional wrestling company.
Okay, so why wrestling? Obviously, that's your favorite sport. Why are you choosing wrestling?
So when I was in high school, I decided to choose wrestling because I was playing soccer and I needed something to stay in shape in the spring. My friends were shoot wrestling, which is basically UFC but with a little fewer rules. And I just fell in love with the physicality of it in itself. And then I watched pro wrestling with my friends that I was shoot wrestling with. Instantly fell in love, ordered the 1998 Survivor Series, which was a tournament for the WWF title. The Rock turns heel. I mean, everything that professional wrestling fans love about the art of professional wrestling was in this show, and I was hooked for life.
So who is your favorite wrestler?
The Le Champion, Chris Jericho, or the Ayatollah of Rock and Rolla, or Y2J, and I forget the other ones because he's got like 30 nicknames.
So Jericho's your favorite. Who's the number one wrestler you want to bring in the ring and take him down yourself?
I would very much love to deliver a Bruise Cruise to Chris Jericho because when you think about wrestling, it's not really getting in there and beating up the other guy. It's getting a chance to put on a performance, and you're just as important as the guy across from you. And Chris Jericho is the greatest of all time, and he could make me look like $1 million in 10 minutes. Like 10 minutes from now, if I had the opportunity.
So on the other side of wrestling, who's your favorite wrestling broadcaster?
I would have to say my favorite wrestling broadcaster is good old JR. Mauro Ronaldo is a very close second, but I grew up on good old JR. You hear his voice, you're like, yep, I'm home, this is wrestling.
So you have all the many, wrestling with WWE, SmackDown, NXT, everything under the sun, Only one wrestling show you could watch the rest of your life. Only thing you could watch. What wrestling show is it?
It would be All Elite Wrestling by far. There's more freedom in the matches. There's more freedom in the promos that they give. And it's more of a family type of an atmosphere backstage. They care about everybody. They care about everybody's success. No one gets thrown to the wolves in AEW.
So when you say thrown to the wolves, can you give me an example of that? Maybe another wrestling organization would do?
It happens a lot in the WWE, and it's the way they do it. You really can't say there's a right or wrong way, especially when you talk about WWE, because they're a multi-billion-dollar worldwide company. I just don't dig that. That's not my thing. I don't like throwing people to the wolves. I like to prepare them as much as possible and see what they can do. Not, oh, hey, I just saw you a month ago. Go out there on national TV and have a 5-star match with this guy that no one knows.
So once it's all said and done, what are your goals for once you are graduated from Ohio Media School?
So it's kind of steps. I want to take a step as a multimedia journalist or a news anchor or sports broadcasting, whichever the company that wants to take me on thinks I fit better at. Very flexible. I like to do a lot of different things, but the main goal is to be a professional wrestling commentator, hopefully for AEW. But I'm not too shy to say that if the WWE came knocking on my door, I would definitely go there, but the dream is AEW.
So I've heard that you tamper a little bit with football. You like the NFL. For some reason, you're a Miami Dolphins fan. Where'd that fandom come out of?
So it came from one of my uncles. I started as a Bengals fan because my dad, my grandparents, the whole McCarthy clan is really from Cincinnati after they came over from Ireland. As long as we're not the McCarthy clan that stole the last name, but I'm never going to find that out because I don't want to. And I was hanging out with my uncles and my cousins a lot more, and one of my uncles was a super huge Dolphins fan, alive for the 72-73 Dolphins, started watching, found out that Dan Marino was drafted in 84. I was born in 83. It was just, I get emotionally attached to things kind of easily for the weirdest things, which is why I love pro wrestling so much. And I just fell in love with Dan Marino. He was my biggest hero when I was a kid. So I stuck with him ever since.
So one current or ex-NFL player that you'd want to bring in the ring for, dare I say, Bruise Cruise? But it can't be Tom Brady. Who is that one player that you want?
So the one player not named Tom Brady that would take a ride on the Bruise Cruise would have to be Brett Favre. And I say it like that because we were talking about that movie earlier.
Why Brett Favre?
I really didn't like the way he left the Packers. I was never a huge Favre guy. I just like saying his name that way. I'm not going to lie. I was never a really big Favre guy to begin with. And then when he flip-flopped and, oh, I retire. Oh, I don't retire. Oh, I retire. Oh, it's September. I don't retire. I thought that was unprofessional as hell and figured he needed a quick Bruise Cruise.
Now, you've done some things here at the Ohio Media School, right? Like, you've already taken part in some productions. You've taken part in podcasts. Up to this point in your schooling, I mean, you're still, you're just now getting into sports emphasis, which is going to be another 9 months, of schooling. What are you most looking forward to learning that maybe you haven't learned up to this point that sports emphasis might provide as in addition to what you've already learned here at the Ohio Media School?
What I'm looking forward to the most out of things that I haven't done would have to be professional wrestling commentary. Our program director, Adam Dell, has a few contacts with a few independent promotions. And once we're out of this coronation, hopefully we get started back to the original plan because we were going to do a live Loganity show and I was going to be on commentary. But of course, that all got pushed off to the side. So hopefully that's what next. And not just wrestling commentary. I want to learn how to commentate for everything. I want to be an asset. Is the dream to be for a professional wrestling company? Oh yeah. But I'm not closed-minded enough to be like, nope, I'm sticking to this and that's it. No, I want to learn how to commentate everything.
Well, and that's absolutely key in this business is you may have your heart set on one thing, but the door may open for another opportunity, and that's what this school provides. So obviously keeping an open mind is you're already on track in that regard, so that's good to hear. What, though, have you preferred in doing so far at the Ohio Media School? Once again, you've been part of basketball productions, right?
Yep.
Hockey. You've run camera. Have you run a board yet?
A couple times.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're obviously one of the main talents featured on Logan's podcast, Logan Moore's or webcast, Loganity. At this point, what have you liked? What have you enjoyed doing the most?
I'd have to say Loganity's I've enjoyed the most. The actual live interaction. Yeah, talking to people. But hockey's a very close second. It was really hard to keep up with that puck. Man, it was so much fun to film and to try to get the good shots because they're moving so fast.
And when you came into the Ohio Media School, you've obviously had it in your mind, this is what I want to do. I want to be a sports commentator. I want to be on the air. I want to be doing podcasts or webcasts, something of that extent. But when you kind of had to branch out a little bit and maybe start doing some things you maybe didn't expect to be doing when you came to this school, what has that experience been like for you to run a camera or run a board?
It's been really cool, actually. Like, it was nothing. I've always been slightly camera crazy. Basically, once my son was born, I took 8 million pictures. So it was kind of natural in that aspect. I didn't realize how much fun it would be. One of the things that I didn't think was going to be the greatest was editing. And of course it's not, because it's monotonous, but I like it. It's something I can do and sit at the computer and stay focused. I'm not a sit down at the computer person. I have to be doing something. I'm not like, oh, I'm going to sit on the computer for 6 hours and do nothing. I have to be focused on something. You've seen me. I go, go, go. So I was really happy and surprised that I took to the audio and video editing so well. And time sitting in the chair wasn't even an issue.